Well, the thing they have in common is their sport. I mean, it's a race. It doesn't matter whether you're hopping on one leg or you're blasting along in a wheelchair. It's a race. There's tactics involved, there's speed, there's power. Champions will win, favourites will win, favourites will falter, you know. Underdogs will come through and take medals. That's why we love sport, and Paralympic sport is no different. And that is what London 2012 did this year. That made it so amazing. I think a lot of people that have been introduced to Paralympic sport before, a lot of it's through the written press, and it's that triumph over adversity banner that goes with it, which, you know, to me, when you're racing on a track, you're racing against 7 other people. There's no triumph over adversity in that race. The triumph over adversity came 5, 10, 15 years ago when you had your accident and you got yourself back. All you are doing now is trying to beat another 7 people that have a similar, you know, disability class to you. That's it. It's competition, and that I think is what people got with London 2012. It was competition first, you know. Then obviously the interesting backstory goes with it. But in terms of when you're looking at different classes, technically there's a difference. You know, so in terms of wheelchair racing, they race very differently, which is why they can do, for example, multi-eventing. They can go from the 100 all the way up to the marathon, where a runner can't do that. And the reason for that is they're just like cyclists. They train like cyclists, and they've got no impact. So it's the impact that breaks you down when you're running. So and when a wheelchair racer pushes, they don't push consistently for 800 metres up to a marathon. They're not pushing for a marathon. They're push, relax, push, relax, and they're drafting and things like that. So it's a very different animal. But of course, I've been in the sport for so long. I know a lot of the athletes. I know Dave Weir really well, and Shelley Woods, and I know some of the cerebral palsy athletes. So through my time in the sport, I know how they're affected and what affects them, and where their strengths and their weaknesses are. So I kind of knew most of that anyway. And the thing is, when you commentary, you don't have a lot of time to go into a lot of detail. You really don't. I mean, the thing about, for example, CP athlete, cerebral palsy athlete, is what you want to get across to the public is, as they coming off, you know, sometimes you might not see that they have cerebral palsy if they're in quite a high class, you know, less affected. But what you try and get across the public, but you will see it when they come down the home straight in 400 metres, because when the lactic kicks in and the fatigue kicks in, their cerebral palsy will become so more pronounced. And that's why you'll see them really falter in the last closing stages of a race. And some of them will, in the more severe cerebral palsy classes, you will see them crash to the ground. And it's about explaining that and what's happened, you know, without going into too much technical detail and too much science and physiology. You're just saying basically the cerebral palsy, you know, because it's affecting the muscles. As the muscles get tired, they're struggling to keep control. And that's part of their training, is learning to hold that off as long as they can. And it's just about getting that information across, really. So in terms of the race, it's the same, just competition. In terms of the disability groups, it's just about having an understanding about that class.